Hey, how's everybody doing today? Just want to give you an update on my car since I posted a couple videos of it, recordings of it, trying to get it running and stuff because I was having some issues after getting it back from that idiot mechanic. Well, after doing some digging and tearing apart uh, some of the components of the engine, I found out that essentially my gut instinct was right. That mechanic is an absolute and utter moron. Um, Aside from the issues that I've already stated that were wrong, uh, that I identified after getting the car back from the mechanic, um, I also recently found out that he didn't put the correct spark plugs in the car. See, this idiot for weeks was telling me that the car was eating spark plugs, and he couldn't figure out why. He kept blaming it on me, telling me I had the timing off. I was off half a tooth or something like that. Um, then he was telling me that the engine was overcarbureted. All of this was nonsense. According to Holly, the manufacturer, that carburetor should work just fine from the factory and should only need some small fine tuning adjustments to get it to dial in where I wanted it, where I need it to be. Um, so with that in mind, the engine was eating spark plugs, which means that it's running rich, it's dumping too much fuel, or it's not combusting all the fuel in the cylinders, and it's causing the spark plugs to get carboned up and causing them to fail. That's what eating spark plugs means. So after doing some digging and cross-referencing the heads that are on this engine, I realized that the spark plugs that this idiot mechanic had in the engine were too short. The reach on the spark plugs that he had in the engine were roughly at about 0.460 inches. So it's less than half of an inch of reach. Where the manufacturer for the heads, when I cross-referenced the information, which the mechanic should have done, and the machinist should have informed the mechanic of this when going through all this push rod debacle and nonsense. See, what I found out is that the heads actually require a 3/4 inch reach. So the plugs that were in there were too short. So if the plugs were too short, they're not reaching into the chamber far enough. By the time that the fuel gets to the plug, it's overwhelmed with the amount of fuel and it's flooding the spark plug. So, uh, yeah, after doing some research, I found out that the idiot mechanic was causing the problem that he was blaming me for. And he essentially practically destroyed my carburetor. I had to replace the power valve in the carburetor because it was blown, um, as well as rewire the distributor and the other things that I've had to do, replace the radiator, so on and so forth. So essentially, because of this mechanic being a fucking moron, he may have damaged my engine because he wasn't using correct parts. Um, so at this point, I have to wait until I get the correct parts in and install them before I can determine if it's going to be able to be salvageable. But at this point, that idiot mechanic, Mark Weaver, out at Fast Forward Performance, may have just bought me a brand new engine because that fucking moron uh, not only used the wrong parts, he didn't install parts correctly, he stole parts from me, and on top of that, he apparently let the engine run, spraying antifreeze and coolant everywhere, all over the engine bay, all over the engine, all over the intake, all over the air cleaner, ruining the paint, ruining some of the parts. I've had to replace the air filter because it was saturated with coolant. So, uh, yeah, at this point, Mark Weaver, if you're listening, or if any of you that are listening know Mark Weaver, yeah, let him know. He just bought me a new engine. So, yeah, good job, idiot. But, anyways, yeah, for all you out there that may need some mechanic work, don't bother considering the fucking idiot out on Newark Road at Fast Forward Performance, Mark Weaver, because he will destroy your car. Period. But just amazing. Just amazing. But hey, I'm glad I have the wherewithal to figure out the truth and figure out what's wrong and fix it. It's just too bad that I thought that I could trust these people that are in business. I mean, when they're uh, what's the term? When they have word of mouth from local area businesses, other business owners in the area that uh, refer him as a good mechanic. He knows what he's doing. He does good work, and he's trustworthy, and this, that, and the other thing. When I hear that from multiple people in the area, and then this is the experience that I get, it makes me question the other people in the area. You know, was I being lied to, or is this guy a double-faced asshole? You know, did he just see me as an opportunity to take advantage and commit fraud and steal from me and damage my property, or is he just a fucking idiot? I don't know. I mean, it could be a little bit of both. So, anyways, I'll keep you all posted when I get the parts in, get them installed. I will, especially once I get the car and engine running right, then I will post another video of that. But yeah, as it appears at this point, based on the parts that I have had to replace after getting it back from that mechanic, and or reinstall, because he's an idiot and didn't install them correctly. Yeah, he is more than likely going to buy me a new engine, whether he likes it or not. So, yeah, just keep that in mind. But thanks to you all for sticking with me. I know there's not a whole lot of you. I really don't care about views and all that kind of stuff. You know, at some point, hopefully, if there's people out there that are finding themselves in situations much like mine, hopefully they can benefit from these postings and learn something from my experience, and maybe it'll give them a leg up so they don't have to deal with idiots like I am dealing with. That's the hope. That's the whole purpose and point of this. It's not about getting views. It's not about making any money off of this. It's not, frankly, it's not even about, well, I mean, it's not really about getting your attention, but it is. In the sense that you all need to pay attention. Because what I'm talking about, not so much in the context of the mechanic, the idiot mechanic, but as far as the public servants are concerned, you know, that is what you all should be paying attention to. Because if we as the people pay attention to the public servants, then the fraud in the companies won't be happening